right, so welcome back to another episode of the Nerd Holes. Today we're going to cover Jurassic Park 3. So Jurassic Park 3 was released July 18th, 2001. It made $368 million worldwide. It was directed by Joe Johnston, who was famous for Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, The Rocketeer, and Jumanji.
Yeah.
It was written by Peter Birchman, Alexander Payne, Jim Taylor, and that was like all three of them was their first. Well, and the director was their first Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah.
So they Steven Spielberg stopped at 2, handed it off to the studio.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. You would think he would try to do like a trilogy.
Yeah, I don't know. He's weird.
Yeah,
I think because this is the first movie that kind of takes apart from the books.
I see. Okay.
He's friends with Crichton. Crichton stopped at 2, and the studio still wanted to make another Jurassic Park movie.
I see.
Spielberg was out. It was just he did the 2 that Crichton wasn't, wrote, and then that was it.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
So this movie, it stars Sam Neill as Alan Grant. Laura Dern makes an appearance as Ellie Sattler, but she's Degler in this movie.
Yeah, Degler, yeah.
How do you say her? Tia Leone is Amanda Kirby.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
William H. Macy is Paul Kirby. Alessandro Nivola is Billy.
Yeah.
Michael Jeter is Mr. Udesky. And Trevor Morgan is Eric Kirby. And those are like the main...
Yeah, the main like chunk of the cast. Yeah.
It's
actually pretty sparse in casting if you think about it, right? Like compared to the other ones.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people in the movie.
Yeah, and only four of them make it to the end? Well, 5 technically, but...
5, yeah, but pretty much 4.
But
yeah.
4, yeah. All right.
You didn't say who Charlie was, because he's a pivotal role in the film.
Yeah, he's dead in like.
Oh no! Charlie is the little boy. Is the little. Hello.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
Charlie.
I do love that scene.
Yeah.
Where they're drowning and he's like watching Barney. Give Mommy the phone. Oh man. Do you want me to do a quick summary or just
Yeah. No. Let's
Okay, so a 12-year-old boy named Eric and his mother's boyfriend go on a parasailing sightseeing adventure over the restricted island of Isla Sorna, the breeding ground for dinosaurs in Gen's Site B. Paul and Amanda Kirby, Eric's divorced parents, put a team together to go to Isla Sorna to rescue Eric, tricking Alan Grant and his assistant Billy Brennan into going with them. Basically, so Alan Grant can be like their tour guide, not knowing that he has not been to Isla Sorna, but he was at Isla Nublar at Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
They try to get off the island and find a boat. Alan gets separated and saved by Eric. And the rest of the movie, they are pursued by the Spinosaurus and the pack of raptors that Billy stole eggs to help. He wanted to sell the eggs to fund their dig site. So the Spinosaurus and the raptors are chasing them to the coast, where they eventually get rescued by the Navy and the Marines that Ellie sends because her husband is a State Department.
He's like some official. You're right. Yeah.
They're in Washington, D.C., apparently.
Oh.
Yeah, they live in D.C., and he's like a state agent.
That makes so much more sense. Okay.
They don't really talk about it. They don't really show when Alan Grant goes to see Ellie in the beginning of the movie. They don't really say like Washington D.C. It's
yeah. All you get is he was on the plane, right? That's all you get.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he doesn't even really. Her husband, Ellie's husband, is in the movie for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I know, it's weird.
Hi to Grant, and then like at the dinner scene, and then he's leaving in the car at the end of the movie. It's like,
Yeah.
so I don't know about you, but I love this movie. This is like one of my favorite Jurassic. Not more than the first one,
Sure. Oh, sure.
but better than the second one for sure.
I do. Yeah, I do like this movie more than the second movie.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll get into it, but I just, the mom character, I have a hard time with.
She was awarded the award for the worst actor for this movie.
Wow.
She didn't win it. She lost. Something
Sure.
that was worse, but Dakota Fanning. But but she was nominated, and So this,
and it's a thing where it's like where you talked about. We've talked about it a couple times in other podcasts where it's like she does such a good job of being so terrible that you can't dislike the woman. It's just the way the character was written.
yeah, I was always irritated with her, but actually watching this movie again, she wasn't as bad to me as I remembered.
Yeah, yeah.
In my head, I remember it being so much worse. But so she was in later on in her career. She was in Fun with Dick and Jane with Jim Carrey.
Yeah, yeah.
I hate that movie. Like,
Okay, I haven't seen it in a very long time.
It's just so not funny. It's just so over the top. Yeah,
I only remember her from Deep Impact. You remember Deep Impact?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that's the only one I really remember from. I know she's in Dick and Jane, but I don't remember. That's the one every time I see her, I always think of Deep Impact.
There's a couple scenes in this movie though where I'll give her credit for, like when the skeleton of Ben.
Oh yeah.
On her, she's like, I believe that's how like somebody would react to that.
Yeah.
But what else? I mean, what else does she do this? I mean, she's always yelling.
That's the thing I have a hard time with, is just the constant yelling.
That's a very bad idea.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's just so funny because when you think about it, you look at the other two films, and it's like, and just, to hone in on the women, because this is what it is. Mm-hmm. It's like Ellie and Lex don't yell throughout the entire movie.
No.
And then you got the second movie, and it's like Sarah and Kelly don't yell through the entire movie.
They're like very grounded characters too.
Yeah, they're very like sensible. They don't scream. They don't scream all the time and yell and scream. And then you go to her, and it's like that's literally all she's doing throughout the entire movie. Is like,
pretty much. They
get off the plane, and she never stops. And I'm just like, oh, okay. But I get it, because like you said, honestly, it makes sense. They have no context of how terrible it is, because they go in with these fake Marine guys or mercenaries, and then they're immediately like, it was immediate, right? They go into the woods, and then also they're like, oh no, we're leaving.
Yeah, no, I know, and I kind of believe that's how like a mother would be if she was trying to find her son.
Oh, sure.
Been abandoned on an island full of dinosaurs.
Yeah. I mean, the whole funny movie is they're all screaming, and I think honestly, the thing that lends to it is because we, as the audience, know like that's such a terrible idea. Like, what are you doing? And especially once you see the Spinosaurus, I think every time she yells, you're not like, oh, it's just like shut up, shut up, like because you're gonna get eaten.
That's one of my pet peeves in a lot of movies and a lot of video games.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh yeah, you got to be really quiet. And then it's like all the characters are just like, they'll talk and they'll yell at each other, or they'll be doing something loud.
Yeah.
Shut up. Shut up. It kind of takes you out.
It does. Yeah, it does. Yeah. It took me, I only had one takeout moment when, for that specific thing, is when I think Alan yells for Billy.
Oh,
like,
right.
Billy, and I'm like, you're literally doing the thing you're yelling at them to Kirby's for not, it's like,
Yeah, but Billy does it with Alan too. Remember when?
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
he's like Alan.
everybody's
I
yelling.
guess he's not as worried in that scene because the raptors are already kind of surrounded the tree anyway. So it's
Yeah,
like whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's go right to the beginning.
Okay. That's the boat, right? Yeah. The right. The opening of the movie is them on the boat, right?
Yeah. Okay. So when I
Okay.
say beginning,
Oh, okay.
I mean like the plane. Let's go to the plane.
Okay.
We get to the island.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The whole,
like when
you
they
know,
land on there, I gotcha.
Alan's like lecture and stuff is really interesting because it's funny because like he's an actual scientist and he's saying like no, like we got to find like through the bones is how we find science. And they're like, there's dinosaurs on this island over here. We could just go study.
Right.
And
Right.
he's saying they're not real dinosaurs. They're manipulated. We have no idea if they're even close to what. So it's like it's one of these like that's kind of an interesting thing, you know. If you
because he's not wrong.
if you mutate something and make it exist, is that the same thing that existed on its own?
Right.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Right. So they have some of the same patterns that they.
Yeah, they can kind of sort of figure things out, right?
Yeah, but they're they're different. They're not the same. So that's cool. But yeah, so let's get right to the island.
Okay.
Because the beginning isn't. It doesn't feel like the beginning is long to get to the island.
No, not really.
But
No.
once they get to the island, it is just non-stop to the end of the movie.
Yeah, true.
Like it feels like the movie goes by quick because it's just constant stuff happening. When you first those it's really so, like you said, it's so funny when those like big bad mercs, they shoot the plane in the beginning to show you how they're
so cool,
so good,
Yeah,
like oh, we got nothing to worry about, and they go into the jungle and they're immediately just like we need to leave,
Yeah.
But yeah, so when they're leaving and you see that Spinosaurus for the first time come out,
yeah,
and grab that guy, Cooper. What's his name? Cooper.
That sounds right.
That's Cooper. Yeah, it's Cooper, and he's this big bad tough guy, right?
Yeah.
He's like crying, like, please, please, and they like can't stop the plane, So. Yeah, that's pretty. I think I lost you. Oh no. Okay, that was weird. They just like dropped out for a second.
Oh. You were there, and you were like, I could see you like looking, and I was like, hello, and then it just like it went away.
I was talking about Cooper getting eaten, and you were just like, and that was it. So,
I was saying, I heard you say Cooper getting eaten. So.
Okay. That was weird. It like dropped out, and I checked the Wi-Fi is fine. I don't know, whatever. Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Yeah. So you mentioned.
Yeah.
Cooper, he was crying. Like I heard all that. So
okay. All right. Good. So, yeah. So the thing that I did some research into to figure out, there's a lot of theories like why the Spinosaurus chases everybody through the whole island.
Mm-hmm.
And in that scene with the plane in the beginning when it goes up, you remember how it goes up and you see all the blood on the windshield of the plane?
Yeah.
So I always assumed that was like Cooper. Like the Spinosaurus eats him and the blood gets on the plane.
Like shoots all over. Yeah.
But if you look in that, there's like a freeze frame where the plane hits the Spinosaurus's like fin.
Oh.
Hurts the Spinosaurus. So a lot of the fan theories is that like the Spinosaurus he's mad, like he's trying to get revenge on being hurt. So that's why he's constantly trying to find them on the island.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, it's not a bad theory. I mean,
no. What I mean, also it's a dinosaur, so why does it matter? Why is they're chasing him on the island?
Yeah. I mean, sure. You don't really need a lot of
he's like the apex predator of the island, like that. It's his territory, you know.
Yeah.
The
But you were right when we were talking about Lost World. Like, it's weird because, like you said, like where was the Spinosaurus? You know, because they go into the heart of the island. You know, because that's the cool thing. I never put two and two together, and maybe you did. When fast forwarding a little bit after the plane crash and everything, they go to the middle. They go to like the building, and like that's where you see. Like I wasn't sure when they were showing some of the broken cars if that's like where Ian was holding up inside the car.
I don't believe so.
And then when you go in, it's like, isn't that the place where Nick goes and calls for the helicopter?
No,
I'm almost positive.
Yeah.
Because it's like in Lost World, they say the center of the island where the thing is, where like this compound is, the raptors, you know, like they have dominance in this area. And so when they get there, that's when the raptors are attacking Ian and Kelly and Sarah, and Nick goes inside the building, and then when they're like, run, 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 and then the helicopters come and get them. I think it's the same building when they go in.
I'm not 100% sure. The building in Lost World, I think is like just a satellite outpost building that they used for, you know, talking to the mainland and stuff. The place they go in this, but that's a good point. I don't know if they had more than one building on the island, but the place
kind of seems like not
is the place that Hammond told Malcolm about in 2, where it's like, where they bred everything. This is where they created everything and raised everything in the lab to ship over to Jurassic Park.
Right.
So that's that's why it maybe looks like a different building, is because you're seeing.
Well, you're seeing more of it because you don't. Yeah, you don't see Nick go. You don't see anybody go inside of it. You just see Nick like run towards it, and then the other three people stay on the outside trying to hide from the raptor.
Yeah, it's interesting to me that in the Lost World, that the building that they go into almost looks like it was made with the appearance that like not just the workers would be seeing it.
I see. Yeah, true.
Like if it's just a building that you use for your company, like obviously you would have InGen out front.
Right.
But they had like the Jurassic Park logo, and then you go inside and there's that painted wall with the T-Rex that he like bumps into. It's like, why would you put all that in just like a work building on an island that nobody's going to see but workers?
I don't know. Maybe eventually he was going to use it for something else. I don't know. Or it could be a thing when like investors come. It's like it's fancy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing too that's interesting though, because this is the same island. I can kind of whatever. Maybe the Spinosaurus was young during Jurassic 2. You know, like it was bred in that lab and got out and it was still small.
Right.
Or just capturing stuff on the island.
Yeah.
And now it's an adult.
Yeah.
But the original movie Jurassic Park and Jurassic 3, they're 8 years apart.
Okay, so it's been. I see. So they do, because I wasn't sure if from Lost World to 3 what the time gap was.
So I don't know. I don't know from 2 to 3, but it's 8 years from 1 to 3.
So that makes sense because it's 97 to 2001 and it's 93 to 97. So it's every 4 years essentially, right? So that makes sense.
So that would mean that the raptors from Lost World have evolved or changed that drastically in 4 years. Because they're completely different in this movie,
Oh, yeah. They do a little bit of that noise, I think, in 1, right? Don't they make noises in 1?
They do. Yeah, they kind of make the same noise throughout. It's just interesting to me that like the whole like redesign they did for the raptors, like they have like the little fin, the little things.
Yeah.
As a kid, I didn't like that, but as an adult, I really enjoyed their design more.
Yeah.
In this movie.
Yeah, it was interesting to see like the different versions of them too, right? Because like in the first 2 movies, they were just like different shades of green and brown.
Yeah.
But in this one, they had like, there were some kind of crazy colors with them and stuff like that. And certain ones.
I noticed that a lot of the dinosaurs on this island were different.
Yeah, true.
Even like the big Bronchiosaurus, remember they have like the red coloration and like stripes. So it's almost like this island they were genetically modifying like even more drastically.
Yeah.
So, like the dinosaurs are
or it's even like the breeding issue is like somehow making them like mutations or more, they're more variants. Because even like, I don't know what you'd call them, but I'll just be silly and call him the poop dinosaur. Even he was like super colored and, you know what I mean? He was like brown and red and all these weird things.
What is that? An Aliosaurus or something?
Something like that. Yeah, I know.
Got the spike.
Yeah.
Spike. But it's just cool to me that in the first two movies, the big bad dinosaur is the T-Rex. I mean, like, as like your childhood, the T-Rex is like, oh yeah, it's the king of the.
This is it. Yeah.
Dinosaur. But this movie shows you that, like, no, the Spinosaurus is like, it's way better than that.
He's the thing. Yeah, I know.
I love.
It was kind of funny how the Spinosaurus looked pretty decent, but that like fight scene between the T-Rex and him, like the T-Rex looked really, like almost like he was an afterthought for the movie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like they were like, you know what? We should show that this thing's killing the T-Rex. And I just like certain shots and certain shadings of the T-Rex, like he just didn't look good. But then you cut back to the Spinosaurus, and it's like he looks really good. Yeah. So it's like I don't know, it was weird.
So when I was watching it, I was really trying to pay attention to the like what is CG and what is
not. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's like every time it's a wide shot, CG, right?
Right.
And every time it's a close up, it's animatronic.
Yeah.
Even like so they must have built. I haven't done any research, but they must have built like full scale like Spinosaurus and stuff because
there's a couple because there's a couple angles when that Spinosaurus comes in. Like you can see it's like a full built like head is coming in. And
even that T-Rex scene where he twists the neck, right?
Oh,
and they show him like
laying down. Yeah,
they show like the T-Rex laying down and him, the Spinosaurus, like looking up. And he's got his arms are there. That's all animatronic.
Yeah.
It's got.
But I think so was the dead body at that point of the T-Rex. Yes. I think it's fake. Or not fake. It's a real like dummy T-Rex body too.
Even the part where they walk up to like the dead dinosaur that's all eaten, and Alan's like, "Don't worry, it's dead," and the T-Rex like lifts his head up,
comes up. Yeah,
that's pretty. Yeah.
The funny thing is, I wonder. I had to look into it, but I wonder if like some of it is like miniature work too.
Yeah, maybe.
Because it's kind of like if you were building those things to scale, like that's those are monstrous. So I don't know.
Yeah. So even in the original, when they do like full scale, it's like it's not the leg. It's not usually the legs all the way up.
It's
like half. So it's like the front. Yeah. So they can specifically film just like the front of the dinosaur, and the legs are on their own like separate rig,
right?
Because even in this, remember the plane? After the plane, they come out of the plane, and you see like the Spinosaurus foot, like
and
then they do that. They do that again when they're running from the T-Rex, and they turn. That seems really funny because like they're running from the T-Rex, and they're all looking at where they're running. And then they turn around one more time, and then they turn back, and the Spinosaurus is like, there. It's like you would have seen that they're running towards the giant.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's pretty good. But yeah, that like the plane crash and everything in the beginning is like such an entertaining like scene,
Yeah.
It's like so good.
I am more surprised that the people inside the airplane didn't get like broken legs and arms.
Oh yeah.
From like especially when he's like crushing and like the seats are compressing against the ceiling. I was like, how is nobody getting pinned under this
I know.
thing?
They kind of do a good job at showing inside the plane when that's happening. You can see the seats are coming down, and even like Alan kind of like rolls to the side, so the seat like goes between the shoulder.
Tries to stay out of the way. I know.
But all the glass, when it crushes and all the glass implodes, and then it's like then he's rolling it and just churning all the glass and people around.
I wonder. Do you think like that the stunt people was like a thing and they spun it and the stunt people were just flipping around?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I'll have to try to find some clips to see. I'm sure they have. But it just, to me, it seems like in this movie they had a bigger budget
Yes.
than even the past.
Oh, very much so. I mean, like you said in the beginning, there's so much happens in this movie. Like, it's constant.
It was like number 3, and Universal was like, "Yeah, go for it. Like, just
Pretty much.
whatever you need."
Yeah. I wonder what let me look up the budget differences, and you can.
Yeah. I love Alan Grant's quote in the very beginning with that lecture thing when they're like, "Would you ever go to the island and study?" And he says, "No force on earth or heaven could get me on that island."
Yeah.
And then the Kirby's pull out a blank check and like, "What's your price?" And next thing he knows, he's on the plane.
Yeah. Well, to credit him, at least he was like, he didn't think he was going to go on the island. So
no,
he was whatever. But yeah.
That I like how they do that too, where they kind of reveal slowly that they're not actually there.
Oh, yeah.
The audience know that obviously they're looking for their kid because why else would they be going? But that realization of they're flying low and they're like, "Man, this is Alan and Billy are like, this is amazing." They're looking out the window and he's pointing out.
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
They're all like, "Do you see anything?" And he's like, "No, there's stuff right here." And they're like, "No, I don't see anything yet. Keep looking." He's like, "What are you talking about? There's stuff everywhere."
Kind of the same thing when they're paragliding. He's like, "Do you see anything?" He's like, "Not yet." And I'm like, "You'd probably see something."
Well, they're parasailing like way up, and it's all like the mountainous peaks. It's like it's going to be down in the valley,
Yeah.
So we'll come back to that parasailing thing later because that's on one of my notes over here under Jurassic plot holes.
Yes. Yes. So first movie, Jurassic Park was 63 million. Then 2 was 73 million, so only like $10 more million for it. So in this one, you were right. It's 93 million.
Oof.
So it's 30 million more than the first one and 20 million more than the second one. Wow. So I mean, it shows that like they they expected it to do better.
Look up what Jurassic World is real quick. I'd be interested to see what their budget for that was.
150 million.
Perfect. Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's like 57 million more dollars than this movie.
It's funny to me looking back at old movies and seeing their budget.
Yeah.
Because a lot of movies back then were partly CGI, partly miniature, partly animatronic. True. And newer movies are like 4 times more expensive to make, and it's all computer work.
Yeah, true.
So you're literally just paying like 50 people to sit at the computer and animate. You know what I mean?
Monster.
Instead of paying 10 people to build a life-size dinosaur for a week, you're paying 50 people to sit at a computer for 6 months,
Yeah.
And it's just funny how that alone makes the budget go out here.
Huge. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Well, it's all those names, right? You got to pay all those people like what they're worth, and so when all those like visual effects, and it's just like, oh, here's the huge list of people.
And then there's always like the head of the effects department, the head of the sound department. It's like, okay. So what next? What next did you enjoy from the movie? The plane crash, like I said, is like a great beginning of the movie. It sets up everything.
Yeah. Them trapping the raptors, chasing him through like the lab was pretty good. I like the lab sequence just in general, even when he's like kicking in the vending machine.
Oh yeah,
yeah, like all that stuff. And then she's like looking, and the eyeball moves, and all of it. Yeah, I like the whole lab sequence.
I love that vending machine because it shows you like Herb like.
Yeah, he's not.
He's like a stand-up guy. He's like he owns his little business and he's this nice guy. And
right.
Anybody have change? I need change for. Billy just walks over, kicks the thing in. Like, it's an abandoned island. It's been here for 20 years. Like, who cares?
Right. Exactly.
No one's gonna be.
No one's mad.
He didn't even think that. That wasn't even his first.
No. No.
Oh man. So yeah, Billy stealing those raptor eggs is kind of interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how you felt about it. I don't like the sequence when Alan is like, "You're worse than the people who built this thing,"
Mm-hmm.
and then goes down the staircase. Like that's a harsh statement because he's not, but at the same time, like I don't feel bad for Alan yelling at him because it's like, what did you think you were gonna do with like? It's not like you could go back to the United States and then be like raptor eggs and then like some theme park or some scientist is going to take him. It's like you're putting him on the black market essentially for what happens in Fallen Kingdom, right?
Right.
It's like it's going to go to bad people. It's like you gotta like, what are you going to do with these?
Yeah,
I get he wants the funding, but like, what's going to happen?
Yeah, he clearly didn't think it through,
Yeah.
So yeah, is he as bad as the people that built that place? No. But I do like Grant's analogy later on with Eric. With there's two types of boys. They want to be astronomers, or they want to be astronauts. They want to go to space.
Yeah.
You can sit and study, or you can go and observe and feel.
Right. And that's all Billy is, right? Yeah. It's like a thing where it's like Billy isn't wrong, and he's not like a villain because of it. It's just was a stupid mistake, and he needed to be kind of yelled at for a little bit because it's like it's it's dumb, but at the same time it's like he says later on, like he shouldn't have been so harsh with him.
Yeah, I know, but then even at the very end when it shows you like Billy's alive. He doesn't say, I'm sorry, I was too hard. I was too harsh on you.
True.
Like he was like, I saved your hat, and he's like, well, that's all that matters. It was like, dude, you had a heart-to-heart with Eric on the boat about being mad at Billy, and then Eric showing you like, no, Billy is right because look at how like amazing all these dinosaurs are.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, and then Billy's alive at the end. He's like, oh, thanks for the hat.
Well, yeah, he's not gonna
live that one down. Yeah, it's like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, so, yeah, I think the Raptors would have came back and killed them, like the T-Rexes did in 2, but because he had his little raptor whistle thing. That thing is cool. I'd like the 3D print one, but
I wondered, like, okay, right, so Billy shows it to him, which was cool. I thought of you immediately because I forgot that this scene happens when he was making the cutting of it out, and he, like, pops it out, and I was like, man, 2001 3D printer, like, that must have been, like, thousands and thousands of dollars, and now it's, like, have one in your home, like, type of thing, Yeah,
it's crazy. And that wasn't even, like, a printer. It's like a CNC machine where, like, you put in the design, and the routing bit like cuts the wood out where like you want it, and it like
that's true.
But that is really cool. That thing is really cool when he pulls it out, and it's.
Do you believe? Now, here's the question. Obviously, they faked it for the film, but do you really believe that if Billy was like blow, it would make that noise? I feel like it would just go. That's all it would sound like,
Yeah, I think in real life, no, I don't think it would.
Yeah,
I get that. Like in the Velociraptor, that's like the resignation chamber, right?
Like in its skull, and right, every skin, and
yeah. So even like with humans, like your voice box, it's not just a hard piece of wood that makes noise through it. It's your muscle moves
the cord, and
so no, I don't think that would.
It's just funny. He was like, I just wanted him to be like, yeah, listen to this.
Ooh.
Like, oh, okay.
I do like when Billy when he first shows it and he blows through it and it makes that noise. It takes Alan right back to Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Because that's what he says to Ellie in the beginning. He's like, "Do you remember the noises they made?" She's like,
try not to think about that, Alan.
I don't like it. Remember, I was running through the woods And I said, run. And you didn't run. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, I think then after that, the next really good sequence is the cell phone in the dinosaur's stomach.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good.
Geez. Yeah.
He's like, I hear, because the thing you don't think about, even when I wasn't thinking about it, even when it was happening, and I had seen, I've seen the movie like 15 times.
Yeah, right.
Is so he's like, how did you find us? And he's like, I found it with your cell phone. I heard the satellite phone, and I was like, oh, that's right. And then like the scene, and I like, yeah, you're gonna hear the thing, but the whole time he's running, when they hear it, it's like you're not hearing Mr. Kirby, you're hearing the dinosaur, you're hearing the Spinosaurus. And I just didn't think about it. I never equate like earlier in that moment. That's still the dinosaur. Like that's the noise coming from him.
No, it's a really good reveal scene because you kind of forget that he even loans the phone to Nash on the plane.
Right, exactly.
And then, so he hears the phone and they're running this direction, and then he's yelling, and then they start yelling. So it diverts them from the phone to them in person.
Right.
And so like the Spinosaurus is still like in the wood line, you know. And he's like, yeah, where is your cell phone? And he's like, last time I had it was on the plane. Let's see, what did I do? Oh, I loaned it to Nash.
Yeah, then he's like, oh,
he must have had it on him right before he. When they look up and the Spinosaurus is just standing there watching him, like, oh man.
It wasn't really fortunate for them that when they ran, there was a beautiful, yeah. It was like,
yeah. I do.
I believe that is another plot hole, literally.
It is on my Jurassic plot hole list. So we'll talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like all your plot holes probably deal with actual holes, right?
No. Well, kind of. I guess you could.
Yeah, we'll see.
So I love that scene though because it is kind of comedically timed.
Oh, very much so.
Dinosaurs like can't get through it, and they're like, "Oh man!" And they can finally like take a break from running, and then they look up and he just charges through the gate anyway.
Yeah.
But my issue is he can barricade through that giant fence, and they run to that little building, and they're like, "Oh, shut the door!" And they shut the door and they put all the locks in, and then just like bang, bang, and he leaves. It's like what?
Yeah, he couldn't come from any other part. He couldn't come from the roof or any, nothing.
No, meanwhile on the plane, he's like ripping the plane apart. He's digging his head in, and he's rolling the thing. But
yeah, to me, it should have been the sequence should have been like boom, boom, and like another like, whew, and then he's just like, then they run down the stairs. Now he can't get them right. Now he realizes he's too close to the edge, or he breaks the staircase. And then they have that talk, and he's like, well. And then they see, that's the other thing in that scene too that just makes me, that's probably on your list, is all of a sudden Alan's like, I'm going to throw the raptor eggs out this window. And then he's like, no. Then he talks, and then he's like, there's a boat. Let's go get the boat. And it's like, they don't even show the boat. They don't even show it. He's just like, boat. Oh,
I think they do. I think there's a.
They don't cut to the boat. They don't.
I think they do like a pan shot where you can see the river and you can see the little boat sitting down there. No, they.
I hope you're right. I really hope you're right. You can show it. I don't believe that they do.
When do they show the boat? They show it.
I think they literally show the boat when they're leaving the pterodactyl or whatever they're called.
No. They show the boat.
I hope so.
I don't remember when. I think they show the boat when Alan and Eric are together.
Okay.
And he looks through the binoculars and he's like, yes, there's a boat down there on the dock, like on the loading.
Wow. Okay.
And that's where they're going, and that's when they run into the Kirbys. That's when they run into the building, and they're still trying to make their way down to the
okay. I hope so. I just don't remember.
I'm pretty sure. I'm like 95% positive.
Right now, it's playing right now, and I'm like this. Oh.
And meanwhile, I'll put like a little thing down here that says, I couldn't find a clip, sorry. I couldn't find nothing.
Yeah. Redacted.
But I do love that though, where it shows how like smart Alan is, where he's like he's about to throw him, and he's like, if they catch us without him, it's going to be a lot worse than if they catch us with him.
Yeah,
they already know we have them. Yeah. So I do like that, and I like the cage. Like I told you before, the cage happens in the book, the first
in Jurassic and in the park, right? Yeah,
it happens while Alan and Tim and Mike are trying to make their way back to the park from the T-Rex car attack.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I would like it more in Jurassic Park.
It'd make that movie a lot more actiony, you know.
Yeah,
like I told you, there's a whole scene in that book with like river rafting and the T-Rex chasing them from the waterfall. It's like,
yeah.
I don't know if it really needs. I think Jurassic Park is pretty good. Just
it feels more, it's more tight. It feels
it's grounded. It's not this big adventure movie.
Right.
You know?
It's honestly more like a horror movie, really.
Yeah. The book plays out to be more actiony than it, you know.
Which going forward, that's kind of what they turn into, you know, slowly. And it's funny too because you talked about what's his name? Is his name Joe Johnson or Johnston or something like that?
Yes, the director.
I think he also did like the first Captain America movie.
Did he?
I think he did First Avenger, and
I didn't see that on his list.
He did. Like I went and looked because I looked at the end of the movie. I was like, yeah. When the movie ends, I was like, yeah, who directed this thing? And then
you say that like it's
yeah. Well, because I was like, you know, like who did this?
Who put their name on this piece?
And then I looked at it and I looked him up, and it's like, oh, he does all these movies that you love. So, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Rocketeer, like you said, The Page Master.
Oh, okay.
Remember that with Macaulay Culkin in the animated books?
Yeah.
Jumanji, like you said, he did October Sky, which is the movie with Jake Gyllenhaal, and they're doing rockets. And then he did Captain America: The First Avenger.
Well, I would have brought that up. I did not even see that on the list when I
looked. And then the crazy thing is he plays apparently uncredited, and I doubt somebody's just adding this on the internet. Like, why would you do this? In the original Star Wars, he plays a Death Star trooper, and on Empire Strikes Back, he plays a Hoth rebel. He plays Captain Sean Valdez, is what it says. He wrote an episode of Star Wars Droids, and he did the visual effects for Star Wars. He was like a part of the crew who did effects and illustrator designer, miniature and optical effects unit, original Star Wars. Miniature and optical effects, Empire Strikes Back, Raiders of the Lost Ark, visual effects in Return of the Jedi.
Did he work for ILM or did he work? Oh, okay.
So it's kind of crazy that guy came from like doing all this like behind the scenes stuff.
So he was in with Spielberg and George.
Right. So that's probably what happened was, like you said, the studio probably approached Spielberg. Spielberg was like, no, my buddy Crichton didn't do a third book. I'm not doing this. And they're like, oh, you know, and he's like, well, why don't you just do this guy? I know him from the Star Wars stuff. And he's already done huge movies like Honey, I Shrunk the Kid and Rocketeer and, you know, stuff like that. Like, those were big movies. Did
Jumanji come out before Jurassic?
Yeah.
It had to, yeah.
I think Jumanji came out the year Lost World came out.
That's a pretty good movie to, like, represent, like, this is what I can do. You know, in
that movie.
And it's, like, all animals and stuff and people running from it. It's like, well, yeah, that's pretty much Jurassic 3. People running.
And kids stuff, too, right? He's really good. You can see he's really good with kids. Like, he understands how to film children.
Yeah, speaking of children, I really do like the character of Eric.
Yeah, I really don't have an issue with him, except for the fact that he survives. Other than that, I'm totally fine.
It seems like he adapted pretty quickly
figuring
out like what I mean, you probably would. I mean, that's.
Oh, you would. You definitely would, but they don't set up the kid when they're parasailing. The kid isn't like, oh, you got to pull this knot. He's not the one coming up with the ideas. He's like, oh God, and it's just funny.
I just love that scene too, where he's like, this is T-Rex pee.
Oh, yeah.
How did you? And he's like, you don't want to know. Like, no, I really don't.
I wanted to be covered in grass, and he has like the jar, and he's just laying on the ground, and he's just waiting.
That's I don't even.
Or it's even better is he goes, you don't want to know, and it's just a shot of the T-Rex has gone to the bathroom, and then it's just him walking over, and he's just scooping it up with the thing, and then he leaves. It's like nothing dramatic.
I just picture a scene where he's just standing, like you said, in his thing, and he's just holding this jar, and because it's just framed in on him, and you can't see the T-Rex at all because it's so big, and he's just doing this, and it's just all this water, like he's catching rain.
I hope there's a deleted
he's
scene.
Under a cliff.
Yeah,
he's under a cliff, Stupid. Yeah. Okay. So then what? So then the Spinosaurus attack on the boat is a pretty entertaining.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And the swimming, Mr. Kirby taking swimming lessons comes into play, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I took swimming. Oh, you look good. Oh, he's like, well, yes, I took up swimming. She's like, well, you don't know how to swim. He's like, well, now I do. And I was like, well, I can't wait for this to be used in the movie. Yeah, it's actually really good. I honestly like that sequence. Not, the phone sliding back and forth is really great, right? And he's like, he's like, Site B, the river, and they go in, and it's like all that.
Oh, that's really what he says. I couldn't even hear what he said. I know he says the river.
He says Site B. Yeah. Oh. So that she knows what's going on. Yeah. But I like it because, like, honestly, the Kirbys are. I think it's just I guess they're both the Kirbys.
Yeah.
It's like she's how she is through the whole movie, and he's also kind of dopey, right?
Yeah.
He's like one notch lower than she is, basically. But the cool thing is, I really like it because he goes up and he has his heroic like redemption. Like he's a cool guy. He's up on the thing and like he's distracting the Spinosaurus and all this stuff, and tries to help them to get away. And
yeah, I really enjoy too how like their characters came back together to like fix their marriage at the end of the movie because of the things around the island.
Yeah,
they both bonded over trying to help save their son. And like you said, he goes from like this, nerdy guy to like this, like he's a man essentially. He's
right
helping his helping his family.
Right.
And I love the story he tells about the boat sinking. The boat. The time they went to he's like, yeah, remember the time we went fishing and I got the boat stuck in on the trailer and the thing, and the tow truck came to pull me out, and he got dragged into, and he's like, I miss fishing.
Yeah.
But the other thing we didn't talk about is I do like the character of Udesky, Mr. Udesky.
Yes.
Because him and Kirby have that thing where they just realize that, like, Kirby's not a billionaire through guy, right? And Mr. Udesky's like, yeah, I'm not really a mercenary. I'm a travel agent guide or whatever. And they're like, yeah, well, when you meet people, you really understand,
Yeah.
They're like, hey, you really don't know people until you meet them, do you?
He's like, yeah, right. Yeah.
That's great.
So please do this. And I'm sorry for all the watchers and listeners.
No, don't.
Yes.
This.
Oh no. No. That's no. So Mr. Udesky, you said his name earlier in the thing, his actor's name. So all you need to do is look up Air Bud. And I know you love that movie.
No, he's the bad guy in that movie.
He's the bad guy from Air Bud.
He's like the dog catcher or something.
And he's a clown in that movie. Oh. All I want is the image of him in the stupid clown makeup right down here. There's Mr. Udesky.
I'll have to try to Photoshop his face into Udesky when he gets his neck snapped by the
Oh, I wonder if you could find Air Bud audio clip of him saying something like when it like stupid dog, and then I don't remember. I literally haven't seen that movie in probably like 20 plus years.
No, that movie sucks.
It probably does. My childhood's like, yeah.
They did 6 of them, didn't they?
Oh gosh, Air Buddies is the last thing I ever saw. So
Air Buddies,
which is like the Air Bud has puppies.
Yeah. Isn't that funny that Apple stole that idea 20 years after the movie came out? What should we call our new headphones? Airbuds. Air Buddies? No, Airbuds. Oh, there's 2 of them. Air Buddies. No, just Airbuds.
Just Airbuds.
No, I only like the first one.
I think the second one's called Airbud 2 Golden Receiver.
That's it.
I hope you find the posters of them. I know you're not going to put any of this on, so this is all going to be edited out.
It's all getting cut. Yeah, so that's pretty much the movie, right? So then the end, they get saved.
Yeah, but this time, like we talked about in the first movie, instead of showing the whatever they were, the pelican or stork or whatever,
yeah,
they show the pterodactyls or whatever they're called. I think maybe they're not called pterodactyls. I think one of our fans said they're called pterodons or something like that, right? Something like that.
Yeah, pterosaurs or
pterosaurs or something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
They make up a new one every 6 months.
Yeah. Plus, they're not real dinosaurs; they're theme park monsters.
When I was a kid, they were pterodactyls. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But you know what's funny to me is that the Kirby's face no reperection.
No.
For going to a restricted airspace and all that kind of stuff. And
yeah, they really don't.
Basically, being at their hands, having 3 murders on their hands.
Yeah.
Lying to people to get them to the island, writing checks that they can't cash, and then they all die. And they're just,
I know, it's so weird.
Saving us. Well, see you later. See you later.
Yeah.
Our marriage is fixed.
It would be really funny is if in Dominion he makes reference to it and he's just like, oh yeah, they're in prison. The Kirby's are in prison, yeah.
I think the Kirby's, man, it's just gonna be like, because where were they going home at the end? They were going home to Nebraska, or
that sounds right. They were like middle Indiana or something. It was something like that. Yeah, yeah.
So that's the thing. They're going to be out in Indiana, and there's going to be a T-Rex on the loose, and they're like, it's a bad day for the Kirby's to get released.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny. Okay, so let's talk about some plot holes.
Okay, let's do it.
So we did the Spinosaurus one. Check. Okay, so the beginning. We'll go right back to the beginning. They're on the paraglider.
Yeah.
They go into the fog. They come out of the fog. They're all dead. All the drivers are dead. The thing's all ripped up. Now, I always assumed that it was the pterodons.
Oh.
But as you see later in the movie, they don't get out.
No.
Not on the island until they leave the door open of the cage.
Right.
So it's not the pterodons.
No.
So what killed the drivers of the boat?
I don't know. My thought was because of Jurassic World, it's like the Mosasaurus thing. But the boat isn't like that destroyed for that monstrosity.
That the Mosasaur would just chomp it and take it underwater, and it would just be done.
So
this was like very specifically like ripped on the top, like slashed on the roof.
It's honestly, knowing what the movie wants you to do, it's probably the Spinosaurus. He just sees the boat. He's just like, okay.
They're not even like, they're in the middle of the water. They're kind of like out in a big, like kind of goes into the land. It's just one of those things. I don't know.
There you go. What exactly killed them? I know. I don't know.
And then they know, and then they say that the boat is going to crash, and they're like 80 feet in the air, and they're like, "Oh, we got to get this rope off. We got to get like what's going to happen to you if the boat crashes?
Right, nothing.
You're still going to be in the air. Maybe it'll pull you down a little bit, but it's not just going to explode and be like, oh my god."
Right,
come out of the air.
no.
So whatever. And then so the other thing too that I was like, but I can see that in that canal in the ocean, it would be really drafty and windy.
Right.
It's like, why didn't he just try to steer, not towards the center of the island? Why didn't he try to get like
back on the coast? Right. Yeah.
But I can see how it would be really, really windy and stuff on the shore.
Sure.
Force him to it. And he's not a professional, he doesn't know what he's doing.
Right.
You just kind of go up there and you're just holding on to the thing and you're just being dragged by the boat until it stops. So he's like he doesn't know what he's doing. So I don't know. I can let that go. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So boat, check. Okay. So here's the last thing I had. There's like little stuff that like, whatever. But these are like the major things I saw.
Yeah.
At the end, when you find out that Billy's alive,
Okay.
how did the military find Billy and save him without anybody else hearing helicopters or hearing people on the island saving him? Especially with that big reveal at the end where it's the one guy on the beach.
Yeah.
And they're like, don't use that. And then it's like all the trucks roll up on the beach. It's like they stayed underwater specifically until they came out.
Right.
Like, how did they find Billy?
Maybe when the pterodactyls got loose, they had Billy and they were flying out to the ocean.
They dropped him off of the helicopter.
He drops onto the boat, and then they were like, "Oh, where?" And he's like, "I came from this direction." They're like, "Okay." I have no idea. It was a weird thing too, because all of a sudden it's just like Billy's on the thing too, and I was like, "How?"
The guy's like, "Is this guy with you? Do you know this guy?" Like, no. There must be somebody else. Some other tourist.
You almost wonder if originally Billy was like, "No, like go away, run," and then like he just dies, and now Alan has to live with that. And then they screened it, and people were like, "Why is Billy dead?" And then they were like, "Okay, let's film something really quick," type of thing.
I don't know too. Well, the other thing about that is like I assume that he's being like pecked to death, and he kind of floats under the water underneath the
cage essentially,
because that's how they escape. They dive underneath the cave, and it was like, do the pterosaurs not understand that they can just go underwater? And maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, they're afraid of it. But also the thing too is like he comes out, the river is like the river, right? It's like, so why isn't he just by the boat?
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Like when he comes out and they get down there, like Billy should have been like, whew, like just waiting for him at the boat. But he's not. It's like, what happened to him? Like, where does he go? It's like, is he literally inside that cage the entire time until they're free, and then he's like running through the island? Like, it's weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's why I legitimately think that it was an afterthought to make him alive.
Yeah, it had to be.
Because, like you're saying, the only thing that makes sense is having him dive into the water. But it's like that water leads to the boat. It's like, so why isn't Billy just there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
As far as the Jurassic Park movie, though, there was not really a whole lot of like deaths in this movie, and the two that do happen are pretty brutal.
Right.
No, there's three. There's Nash. Nash gets eaten pretty bad on the boat from the plane. He gets pulled out of the plane.
Yes.
He gets stepped on and he gets his head chomped.
Yeah.
And then Udesky gets his that's what we're gonna talk that they lay the trap, right, for them to come down and save Udesky.
Oh yeah, raptor. Yeah.
And when that raptor like steps on him and does the in his spine so he can't move.
Yeah.
That's pretty rough.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, yeah, every time it happens.
It's like right in the spine too.
And it's like, no, it's a trap.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he gets his neck snapped. And then the other guy there, he gets eaten in the beginning by the Spinosaurus. Like immediately. Yeah. And that's it. I mean, there's only three people get eaten.
Yeah, I mean, other than the boat people and the dad, the boyfriend. Those are like the only people they get.
I assume he dies of like. That's the other thing. That's another plot hole. When they find him, and he's still up in the tree, wrapped around the thing.
Yeah,
he is like. It's been 3 weeks. Because
is it 3 weeks or has it been 3 months? Maybe it's only been 3 weeks. I can't remember.
I don't remember. Maybe it's been 3 months. That makes more sense. That makes a lot more sense. I misheard that because I thought when he meets Eric, he's like, yeah, I can't believe you've been around here for 3 weeks. 3 weeks. I thought I heard 3 weeks. 3 months.
You're probably right. My brain was probably like, that doesn't make any sense. And I was like, it's got to be 3 months.
It might be 3 months because they were talking about trying to finding people to go, and they called the government and they said no, and all that stuff.
So we're both wrong. It's 8 weeks. So it's 2 months.
I could swear I heard 3. Because he tells Eric how long it's been, and he goes, that's all it's been?
Yeah. So he's been on the month. He's been on there for 2 months.
Okay. So then do you believe that a corpse in Costa Rica would become a skeleton in 2 months?
No. The only thing what I thought had happened was he got eaten by stuff. Because I don't think he has like legs. I think when the skeleton drops out, it's just like his torso is attached in the thing. So I just always figured other stuff just ate him and picked him over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could be. Yeah, maybe compies. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I wouldn't rule that out.
That's how I always assume. But it is weird that he's like fully skeletonized. But I always just figured stuff just ate him.
Yeah.
It
also,
says
like, in a PG-13 movie, what else would you show other than a skeleton? You know,
yeah.
He's like implode. He's all
Yeah. It says for trivia for Billy, it says it is unknown how he survived, but it can be assumed he washed down river and was found by the rescue party.
Yeah. That's a long way to wash down the shore because they were on the boat like overnight. They were on that boat overnight to get to the shore.
I know.
So you're telling me that his body floated past them faster?
Right.
Because they get attacked by the Spinosaurus and then they're in the woods again, and then now they're still in the woods trying to get to the coast. So he's just floating. He floats through the fire.
Right. Yeah.
And nothing in the water ate him. You know there's stuff in the water. You know there's dinosaurs and stuff in the water.
Well, they show it, right? They show in the water that there's something. They said something. They're like, "Oh, look, word," and then they're like,
"Yeah,
oh, that something's scaring them."
I do love that scene of where like the fin comes out like a shark fin.
Oh yeah,
Spinosaurus, and it's cool.
Yeah,
I like it. Yeah,
must have been really deep. That's what I was thinking. That's got to be a really deep river.
The deepest.
But it was pretty. Honestly, it was pretty deep because remember the cage falls and it's like bloop, and it shows it falling all the way down. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where, like, when the boat is attacked, they allow go in that like cage because it's like, oh, it will be safer in here, and then the cage immediately comes off of the boat and goes into the water. It's like, well, this isn't any better.
This isn't good. Yeah.
So I want to be bitten to death, or do I want to drown to death?
And I like too that it comes back to Alan being quick thinking and using another flare, right? That's what I liked too. It was cool.
Oh yeah, and he's like,
yeah. Because I totally forgot that happens in the movie, and I was like, why is he shooting a flare at this thing? And I was like, oh, that's right, all the diesels.
Because they specifically show like it gets bit, and you can see all the diesel pouring out of the.
Yeah.
I also like how they showed that even Kirby knew how to like start the end. Like he used his belt. He took his belt off.
Oh yeah,
on the motor and yanked the belt to turn the motor. So that's pretty cool.
It was pretty cool.
I like little stuff like that because like you would find a boat that's been abandoned for 8 years.
Right.
Like even if it had gas in it, it's like spark plug is probably seized, the engine. Right. But to show like how they actually fixed it and were working on it to get it running. I like that stuff.
Yeah, not just like, oh, here it is. Here's the keys. Let's turn it on.
All perfect.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think that's generally it. I don't think. I think you touched on all the things I thought about too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Like I said, I do really enjoy that movie. It's a fun movie to watch.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's one of those movies. It's kind of like the first Jurassic Park, where we were kind of like, well, this thing doesn't make sense, this thing, but you still enjoy the movie. It's like even though all this stuff is happening, you still enjoy it. Yeah, like it doesn't take me out of it that Billy survives randomly. It's not like, well, this is stupid. It's like it's fine.
Honestly, I probably feel that way towards all of them, but the first three in the series, right? The first three in the series.
Yeah.
If they were like on TV, like back in the day, I picture like a Sunday afternoon when you're eating lunch and you're if it was on, I would watch it. I'd watch it.
Oh yeah.
Lunch, Yeah. I kind of feel that way towards all of them so far.
Yeah.
I would watch it.
I'm curious about Fallen Kingdom. I really didn't enjoy it in theaters, but I haven't seen it since we saw it in theaters. But we'll see. Who knows?
It was just like with 2 for me. It had a lot of scenes that I really enjoyed. It had a lot of like really good horror aspect.
Yeah.
And then there was a lot of stuff of just like, okay, I don't care that she's a clone. I don't.
Oh yeah.
I don't care about that stuff.
Yeah, sure.
But military auctioning and buying modified raptors for like war, it's like really intriguing to me. And I always remember like that was the rumor for what Jurassic 4 was going to be.
Yeah.
It was going to be like, oh yeah, they were going to be weaponized. There was all this like artwork of like T-Rexes with like freaking laser. Yeah. And then that never happened. And now it's taken 3 movies, and now we're at that stage again.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I like that stuff. It's
like so I mean, this is the trilogy. This is our childhood essentially, right? This is like what we grew up on as young kids, and now going into the new trilogy essentially.
They confirmed that this is going to be like definitely the last.
I don't think so.
Park movie? No.
I think it's like Star Wars movies where they're like, no, this is it, and then it's like, wait 5 years, 10 years, and they'll make another.
You guys want to see what happened between 3 and World?
Right.
I do actually. I would like to see what happened.
Well, that's what I'm curious about now going forward to Jurassic World is what I'm interested to see what they say the time gap is, and like if they talk about the 2 islands, and I just don't remember all those finer details.
Yeah, I know. I don't think they do. I think they just kind of blow it under the water. They make that one because that one guy, remember, he's wearing the old Jurassic Park shirts.
Yeah.
And he says, you got a velociraptor.
Yeah, he's coming to get us. He waved back.
So he's got that old Jurassic Park logo T-shirt, and he's like, and they make that reference like, you probably shouldn't wear that shirt. Didn't like a bunch of people die or something there?
Right.
I think that's it. That's like all they talk about the original Jurassic Park. They want you to not think about that because this is all new stuff. Well, like we were saying before, that's a restricted island. All this stuff is like top security, highly restricted, and it's like, how did they get the rights to get possession of that island and do the same thing that Hammond failed at that caused it to go crazy? I don't know.
Yeah, I really do honestly wonder what.
It's the same.
There's got to be something.
Isn't it the same? Isn't it still InGen?
I think it's still Ninja. Yeah.
What the heck? Like, I don't understand. I don't know. Oh, and speaking of Jurassic Park shirts, if anybody is if anybody's listening from Walmart,
Oh,
what the heck is going on with your shirt section?
oh,
There's a new Jurassic Park movie coming out in 2 months, and I couldn't find a Jurassic Park shirt to save my life if it depended on it right now.
no.
I even went online to look for like shirts, and it's just like, you want this one or this one? They're small or small, and it's like, dude, like what? Nobody's buying Jurassic merch right now. You got a new movie coming out.
Yeah,
I was looking the other night because
that's true.
I was gonna buy us like 2 shirts that we could wear, like Jurassic shirts while we talk. But we're 3 movies in and I can't find shirts, so it's just like whatever. I'm just gonna.
Well, now you got to have them so when we go to the theater to see it, right? We got to let the people at the movieplex know that we're highly nerds about Jurassic.
I'll have to put in one of my favorite videos down here. It's a guy. It's this guy wearing he's wearing a full Spider-Man outfit.
Oh no!
Right, full Spider-Man outfit. He's at the movie theater and he's like, "One, please." And the guy's like, "For what?" And he looks at the camera and he's like, what do you think? What do you think? I'm here to see Batman.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'd like to see West Side Story, please. One to West Side.
I just love Spielberg so much.
Yeah.
It's all part of my original vision.
Yeah. The joke's going to be on that. We're not going to get Jurassic World T-shirts. You're going to go as Alan Grant, and I'm going to go as Ian Malcolm.
We're holding flares.
With the flares, yeah, exactly.
They actually make these really cool, like InGen shirts that I like, because you know how my style is. Like you have these people that like they buy these Dragon Ball Z shirts where it's just all the characters like all over the place. It's like, yeah, I love Dragon Ball Z, but I would like something a little bit more subtle.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like if you wore a shirt that said InGen, only people who know what InGen is.
I'll go even deeper for you.
Oh no!
It is a half a second clip. So when Dr. Grant shows up to the dig site when you first introduce Billy, he closes the door and it says like Montana Museum of something, and it's like the logo for the company that he's working for. Like that's an even deeper dive. Like, just have that.
Yeah,
it's just like a dinosaur skull and it says Montana, whatever.
That would be cool.
Yeah. I wonder if I can pull it up real quick. I doubt it. I doubt I can find it. Who knows?
But I do really like those InGen shirts. They're really cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Even though like InGen is now a company that you don't really like.
Right.
Stuff. That's where it started with Hammond.
Oh man, where is his?
You actually saw a shirt that said that?
No. I'm just saying, like that would even be a more like only people who really watch the movies. Like,
so this one actually has a little Jurassic Park logo underneath it. But like if I made these, I wouldn't put that on there. It's just this like gray shirt.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's totally.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Come on.
That's what I mean. Like that versus something like this.
Oh gosh,
it's like
that's rough.
It's too much. It's too much. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I doubt I'll find it. But yeah. I don't even know if you can find it on YouTube, and like it's right when he closes the door. It's like it's like a hat. You blink and you miss it type of thing. But
if I can find the scene where he's going in, Billy's showing him that 3D print.
Yeah, you'll literally. It's like right after. I think his address, his like they're like, "What about San Diego?" And he's like, "I'm not talking." It's like after that, and it says Montana.
Does anybody have questions that don't pertain to Jurassic Park, Site B, or the thing that happened in San Diego that I was not there for?
Right. Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Too funny.
All right. Well, that's the end of the episode.
Yeah, I know. Now we're just a couple away now from. We're getting into more of the modern era of Jurassic now. So
yeah, I know. Yeah, it'll be fun to rewatch those.
Yeah.
Oh man, I have a time frame that these episodes have to come out, before the movies come out, and I've been hitting that week. I've had a lot of issues here and there with stupid stuff and copyright, and then stuff gets uploaded and it uploads half, and then I don't know what's going on. So
just do the best you can. Yeah. I know.
We're getting them. I'm getting them out, and then yeah, we got other stuff too. I'm looking forward to newer stuff where there's no video clips, and we can just put up I'll just put a picture down here. It's like, this is the movie.
It's just the poster and then like one or two shots from the trailer, and that's it. Like,
yeah, I was used to play the trailer over for the whole hour.
Just live it. Yeah.
Oh boy. All right. So we will see you guys for Jurassic World.
Jurassic World.
All right.
Okay.
I am going to see you guys. We'll see you guys next time.
Yeah. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah. And buy us coffee.